In a grand library, Prince Adam found an old book. From it fell a single enchanted rose. He touched its petals, and a dark energy pulsed, throwing him back. He cried out, his hands twisting into claws as horns tore through his skin. The beast roared in despair. A spoiled prince, cursed for his arrogance, is transformed into a hideous beast, his despair echoing through the castle as an enchanted rose is sealed away. Years later, a spirited young woman named Belle stumbles upon his dark domain and bravely takes her father's place as the beast's prisoner. Their initial interactions are fraught with tension. When the beast commands Belle to dine with him, she flatly refuses, leading him to roar in frustration outside her locked door. Hoping to appease her, the beast reveals the castle's breathtaking library. Her awe and delight begin to thaw his frozen heart, sparking a connection between them. A tender bond blossoms as they share quiet meals, playful snowball fights, and fireside stories, discovering a depth in each other they never expected. Drawn by curiosity, Belle breaks her promise and ventures into the forbidden West Wing, where she finds the magical wilting rose. The beast discovers her intrusion and erupts in a terrifying fury, his rage sending a horrified Belle fleeing into the night. In the dark, snow-filled forest, a pack of vicious wolves surrounds her, their eyes gleaming with hunger. Just as they attack, the beast leaps to her defense, fighting them off but sustaining severe injuries in the heroic struggle. Seeing his sacrifice, Belle's heart changes. She helps the wounded beast back to the castle, gently tending to his wounds as a profound unspoken understanding passes between them. Within the grandeur of the castle's ballroom, Belle and the beast came together for a dance that would forever alter their destinies. As they glided across the polished floor, the connection between them deepened, evolving from mere friendship into the first whispers of true love. This magical moment, however, was destined to be fleeting. The beast, peering into his enchanted mirror, witnessed Belle's profound sorrow for her ailing father, Maurice. In an act of pure selflessness, he chose to release her, understanding that this decision might seal his fate and make the curse permanent. His love for her was greater than his own desire to be free. Back in the village, the seeds of hatred were being sown. A consumed and jealous Gaston, having seen the beast in the same magic mirror, rallied the townspeople. He manipulated their fear, painting the beast as a monstrous threat that needed to be destroyed. With torches held high and pitchforks at the ready, the enraged mob marched towards the castle. On the rain-slicked castle rooftops, Gaston confronted the heartbroken beast. Initially despondent, the beast's spirit was reignited upon seeing Belle's return. He fought back with renewed strength, easily overpowering Gaston, but choosing to show mercy and spare his life. Yet, this compassion was met with treachery. As the beast turned towards Belle, Gaston lunged forward, stabbing him viciously in the back, before losing his own balance and plummeting to his death below. The beast collapsed into Belle's arms, just as the last petal fell from the enchanted rose. With tears streaming down her face, Belle confessed her love for the dying beast. In that instant, a shower of golden light rained down, enveloping the beast and lifting him into the air. The magic transformed him, restoring his human form as Prince Adam. The curse was finally broken as they shared true love's kiss, and the once dark castle was reborn into a magnificent palace, bathed in light and splendor. On the castle ramparts, he saw the glint of Gaston's dagger, felt the phantom pain of the wound in his side. Quick, distorted cuts flashed through his mind, a mob roaring with hatred. The terror in their eyes as they saw not a man, but a monster. He saw a clawed-furred hand, his own hand stumbled back, a gasp escaping his lips as he collided with the past. The weight of the beast, an identity he thought he had shed, crashed down upon him once more. Through the fog of his panic, a gentle presence emerged. Belle, seeing the terror in his eyes, moved toward him with a calm that defied the chaos in his mind. She didn't rush or demand. She simply approached, her touch a feather-light anchor as she placed a hand on his trembling arm. "You're home," she whispered, her voice cutting through the internal storm. "You're Adam. Look at me." Her eyes held his, a beacon of unwavering love and safety, slowly pulling him back to the present, back to himself. Later, Belle led him by the hand, not away from the darkness, but through it. They walked the quiet halls to the West Wing, a place he had avoided since his transformation. There, hanging on the wall, was the enchanted mirror, its glass now miraculously whole. He stared at his reflection, the face of a man, no longer a beast. Hesitantly, he reached out and touched the ornate frame, not with the lingering fear of what he had been, but with a quiet acceptance of the journey that had brought him here. His healing was a quiet, deliberate process, a garden tended with patience. A montage of moments marked his slow return to the world. He walked through the village, the memory of fear a ghost at his side. But Belle's hand, clasped firmly in his, gave him the courage to face the wary, then welcoming, glances of the townspeople. He found solace in the earth, clearing the once overgrown castle gardens and planting rows of new white roses, their petals like promises of a fresh start. The long, lonely evenings were replaced with quiet companionship, reading side by side with Belle in the library, the silence no longer a void of despair, but a comfortable peace. As a new dawn painted the sky in hues of rose and gold, Adam and Belle stood on a balcony overlooking their kingdom. The ghosts of the past were finally silent. He held her hand, his gaze fixed on the horizon, not with the haunted look of a man tormented by his memories, but with the calm, genuine smile of a man looking toward his future. He was no longer the beast, nor just the prince. He was Adam, whole and healed, ready to greet the morning. The applause thundered through the grand ballroom, a wave of sound crashing against Prince Adam. In the brightly lit castle, surrounded by fawning courtiers celebrating his return, the roar of the crowd felt like a physical blow. He flinched, a sharp, involuntary jerk, as his vision blurred at the edges. The polished marble floor seemed to tilt beneath his feet, the cheerful faces of the court twisting into grotesque masks. The celebratory noise was a trigger, unlocking a cage in his mind he thought had been sealed forever. He was no longer in the ballroom. Quick, disorienting flashes assaulted him, the fiery glare of torches held by an angry mob, the cold, sharp glint of Gaston's hunting knife, and the horrifying image of a monstrous, clawed hand, his own swiping through the air. A strangled gasp escaped his lips as he stumbled backward, clutching his chest. The fine brocade of his coat felt suffocating, and the air, thick with perfume and joy, was suddenly too thin to breathe. He was drowning in the memory of the monster he had been. Through the haze of his panic, a figure emerged, Belle. Seeing the terror in his eyes, she moved toward him, her steps calm and deliberate, a beacon of serenity in his storm. She didn't speak to the prince the crowd saw, but to the man she knew was underneath. Gently, she placed a hand on his arm, her touch a firm, grounding anchor. "You're home," she whispered, her voice cutting through the phantom noises. "You're Adam, look at me." Her eyes held his, pulling him back from the precipice of his past. Later, Belle led him by the hand, not to the bustling halls, but to the quiet solitude of the West Wing. He stood before the shattered magic mirror, the frame still jagged and broken, a relic of his rage. But this time, the reflection staring back was not a beast, but his own human face, whole and pale. He reached out, his fingers tracing the sharp edges of the broken frame. Not with the familiar dread of his curse, but with a quiet, somber acceptance of the man he once was, and the man he was now. This was the beginning of his true healing. The days that followed were a montage of small, deliberate steps away from the shadow of the beast. He nervously re-entered the nearby village for the first time, as a man, the stares of the townspeople like tiny needles. But Belle's hand held firmly in his, gave him the strength to hold his head high. He found solace in the castle gardens, his hands digging into the soil as he carefully planted new white roses, coaxing life from the once neglected earth. Quiet evenings were no longer about lonely brooding. They were spent in the library, reading side by side with Belle. The silence filled not with solitude, but with a shared, peaceful companionship. As a new dawn broke, casting pastel hues across the sky, Adam and Belle stood together on a balcony, overlooking their kingdom. The ghosts of the past no longer clawed at him. He watched the sunrise, a calm, genuine smile gracing his lips as he held her hand. He was no longer a beast haunted by his past, but a man looking toward a future he would build with her, finally at peace.
They say a beast's heart, once healed, can mend a kingdom. For Prince Adam, the journey to becoming a king began not with a crown, but with a single rose. At the bustling village market, a little girl offered him a rose. A wave of darkness washed over him, the enchantress, the curse, the lonely years. His involuntary flinch made the child cry. But then, Belle's gentle hand found his. With her encouragement, Adam took the rozan, with surprisingly nimble fingers, wove it into a small flower crown for the girl, turning her fear into a bright, gap-toothed smile. That simple act sparked something within him. Adam unearthed old castle blueprints for forgotten irrigation channels. He didn't just issue orders. He labored alongside the villagers, digging and building under the hot sun. Slowly, respect bloomed where fear once grew. Water flowed back into the parched fields, and the kingdom began to thrive. Years later, in the castle garden, King Adam and Queen Belle watched their children play. A girl, Rose, with her mother's inquisitive eyes, and a boy, Ben, with his father's gentle heart. Together, they looked upon their flourishing kingdom of family and a people, finally at peace.